Welcome, this is X speaking. This is an in-depth guide to the HUD on Starcitizens. I'm using an Aegis Gladius combat ship for showing you this one. Of course, they're pretty much the same with each end of the ship. Let's go first. On the bottom left-hand side, we have VTOL. That's vertical thrust on landing. So what a couple of ships have the ability to change their thrusters to verticals, like the Cutlass or the C2 and the MISC Prospectors. This helps you to fly atmospheric easier and land and start and hover more precise as you can. So there is coupled mode, another thing we got here, deep coupled and coupled mode. This is basically changing the way your ship's behavior. With coupled mode, we have the ISFC, an intelligent flight system that helps you flying and steering your ship. To understand how this works, we need to understand how that this game is built on a Newtonian atmosphere, a Newtonian universe. So you see, this is the main thruster forwards. These are one of the three thrusters we have. So then it pushes us forward. We have the thruster side that helps us steer the ship, pitch, yaw, and change and turn the ship. And we have then the retrograde thrusters that stop us from having. So these are the kind of thrusters you have. With coupled mode on, the ship will automatically use that based on the input of your stick and how you play with it, or your mouse input. If you turn it off, you have more flexibility, you can fly it on yourself, but it will be harder, it's more challenging to actually do. So if you're a new pilot, maybe not the right thing to do, but it's a great thing to try it out, to figure out how it was. ESP stands for Hand Sticks Position, and we look at this later at my combat guide that you find in this channel as well. Landing gears, if it's dimmed, they're in. If they're light, they're out. Put them down before you land. It actually helps. Above the subsystem indicators is the thruster indicator, and with right alt and mouse wheel you can adjust the thruster and how much power you get into your main systems. So this is again for more advanced pilots that want to tweak out the ship in special occasions and emergency moments. With pressing boost, this is the shift button on default, you give your ship an extra move forward, and you see you have sort of fuel for doing that. If it goes into the red zone, it has a cooldown and it needs to go above 25% that you can actually use it again. And the fun thing with this, you have as well a space brake to use, and you can add the space brake to actually use boost. So you can really slow down pretty fast. This comes in handy when you go forward on a on a station and you figured out, oh freaking hell, I'm too fast. So you can use the space brake to brake yourself down and stop your ship at a quicker amount as usually. On the right is your speed bar, and you see the bottom one is brighter, is wider or greenish. This one is your SCM bar, Space Combat Maneuvers. If you want to do combat and fly specially, you fly within this section. The red part is your cruise speed. So if you want to go fast, escape, go away, rush away, or just come fast from one to another place, you go into the red bar. If you want to do complex maneuver, you keep your system, your speed down in the white bar in the SCM part, so you actually can maneuver well and you can push yourself up and down. Don't hit the ground. The speed bar itself shows your speed in meters per second, and now you see the square thing, that's your limiter, and this is a very important tool. Because with the limiter you can limit your speed and you make sure that you actually stay within the ranges that you actually want to. Is it in cruise speed or in SCM? Especially when you start to land or dock onto places, reduce your velocity limiter as much as you can to slow down the ship, to go really slow and to fly precise onto it. To the bottom right we have the directional momentum indicator. This indicator shows you where you're actually heading when you're flying. As more red it is, the more power you have in one direction. You see how it reds up as I push forward, the limiter down, it's all clear or same color as the ring. And as you more push it up, it gets more reddish. We push to the left, we strafe left, you see it gets red, we slow down, it widens out again. So you know where you're actually heading, a good thing to have. In the center we have the crosshair to know where your nose is pointing at, and of course where to aim at, where to shoot at. That's another good thing to keep in mind. The other thing you see around the crosshair is the TVI, the true vector indicator. You see this two arrows that point towards it. That's when you're heading forward, they point together, they're pointing outward if you fly backward. And this makes you actually help to see where your ship is actually heading, in which direction as you're going, as you pull turns and everything. You see the difference and how you're strafing. So as you go backward, this swifts around and changes until you move forward again. Then now there is it in again. Okay, the TVA, a very important thing to know to move around asteroids, land and spaceports, or in general, just to know where your ship is going. As soon as you are in atmospheric flight, there's a pitch ladder appearing that is aligned with the horizon. 0 is your horizon. When you have minus, you go towards the planet. If you're in plus, you go away from the planet. Straightforward. On top of it, we have a compass. In atmospheric flight, we have as well these directions: north, east, south and west. Out in space we don't have that, but we still have the bearing, so the gunner can tell you in which direction to fly to aim at an enemy. Good to have. And on top of it you see the current emission output of your ship, left to right, infrared. This shows how much heat you disperse, cross section, and on the left is electromagnetic. But this is more used for stealth flying. You can see how if you reduce your emission, how this is changing. But in my combat guide there will be more onto that. Then on the bottom right, rockets flying around, there is your G-force indicator and your G-safe. So you can use that by turning it on, then it lights, or turning it off. It makes a difference whether the G-force is push you too hard that you won't pass out. If you push in G-safe, it doesn't mean that you're totally safe from passing out, but it will less likely to occur. And on the right is the altimeter. You see it here as we are on the planet. You see how it changes in meters. You're above on the ground. Make sure zero at the ground is not always at 0, depending, not always sea level. So make sure that you stop early enough. On the right hand side you see the weapons output and the energy indicator as well, how much heat they have. I currently have no weapons in this ship, I used them all, but you can switch there and see it as. In the combat guide more on that. Then the hydrogen fuel indicator, this is what powers all your thrusters, all of the 3 kinds of thrusters: main thrust, retrograde thrust and the little side thrusters. If you don't have it, you don't fly anymore. Quantum fuel is used for quantum traveling. That's pretty straightforward. If it's empty, you can't jump anymore to other places. You need to refuel or dump a ship in the other side. This is the gimbaled aim mode. With the Gladius we only have 1 lock, which basically means straightforward. There are 2 more in the basic combat guide. It's more about it. Same with the decoys and the noise about it. So that's what I got to offer you to explain the HUD. There will be more as well on detailed on the MFD. A more detailed flight guide will appear soon in the other days. I thank you for watching and I wish you a very beautiful day.